Well, Mike, let's begin this recruiting update by going back a couple of days and recap the news involving a member of the class of 2023 that signed on December the 21st, and that is Brendan Hillman. He announced on social media he had been released from his national letter of intent, so the class goes from 24 players to 23 players. Not something that happens a lot, but we do hear it from time to time. And you know what, Mike? Sometimes things happen in people's lives. I have no idea what it is for Brendan. It's none of my business. But this is a guy that I know you really found very interesting, a kid that started out with a offer from Norfolk State and ended up signing with Notre Dame.
Yeah, not ideal news. And, I think that the Notre Dame staff is pretty unhappy that they're not going to have Hillman on the football field for years to come. Like you mentioned, he was ended up being a big time prospect after being a little time prospect. I don't know, the opposite of big time, little time. But just going into senior season when we had Norfolk State, like you mentioned, then tape gets out there of him at different positions, then he blows up. In his tweet where he announced the news, he did ask for privacy, about it, and it's kind of funny as posting on social media, but also asking for privacy. But he's got to put out the news, so that other schools know about this. That's kind of a big part of him being able to get recruited again. And something like Ohio State, Michigan, just tons of schools. USC, I believe Georgia have all offered him since he got his release from Notre Dame. Darren, I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't work out for him in Notre Dame. I'm sure people listening and watching this, if you've already heard about the news, you have your suspicions about why. Notre Dame is it's just different than a lot of other institutions, and he has other high academic schools now after him. But Notre Dame again just is a little bit different. Hillman's a fantastic young man. He is going to do fine at whatever school he lands at. Wish him the best of luck, but just scratching your head that this one didn't work out for the Irish.
Brandon looked like an intriguing prospect at the safety position. There are still two other safeties in the class, but Mike, I guess you look big picture. I mean, they're not going to absolutely panic with Hillman gone, but you lose anybody at safety, it feels like it's a major loss because it's a position that's kind of redefining itself right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think with or without Hillman, Notre Dame's safety spot, kind of the future is kind of shaky. Hillman, I mean, he had talks to the coaching staff about coming out or him coming in and trying quarterback. I mean, that's his primary position, high school. So it's not like he was a penciled in safety guy. I mean, he could have, I think Al Golden talked about on signing day him potentially playing Rover. That Golden loved him as a linebacker. So it's not to say that he was just coming in as a safety. You bring in a Don Schuler, an All-American, Ben Minnick, one of the fastest players in the state of Ohio, if not the fastest guy. He was a total track star, as a prep. But, I think that, looking forward, you need some of these young guys to step up. And then also, do you look at like a Ryan Barnes when he signed with Notre Dame in the 2021 class? The talk about him was, he's this versatile player who could play corner or safety. Do we see him move over to safety to kind of bolster those numbers? Xavier Watts, Ramon Henderson, guys that have been in the program for, what is this going on to their, are they seniors now, Darren? Are they seniors? Yeah, they're in the 2020 class. It's crazy. It's my first full class covering Notre Dame, and I came in halfway through the recruiting cycle actually when I joined Blue and Gold. But they're already seniors, so those guys definitely need to step up.
He's Mike Sanger. I'm Darren Pritchett. Our Notre Dame football recruiting update on SportsBeat and the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. Let's change gears for a moment, Mike. Let's talk about Aaron Childs. He has set a visit date.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice development here for Notre Dame. Considered a Michigan lean per the recruiting prediction machine. But I mean, when you're talking about taking 4 official visits, kind of anyone's guess at this point. He's listed as a linebacker. This one's interesting, Darren.
Okay.
He said recently in an interview that he had been talking a lot with Coach Freeman and Coach Al. I don't know if that's Al Golden or Al Washington. Could be both. Both have been recruiting him. But I want to say that Notre Dame's looking at him more as a Viper. But the guy's just what I call a defensive athlete in the front seven. Like he can kind of do anything. Like he can rush the passer, he can play linebacker. And yeah, his 4 official visit dates that he's got locked in: Clemson June 3rd, Florida June 10th, Notre Dame June 17th, and then Michigan the following weekend, at the end of June. And again, this is a player who can kind of play anywhere. And he's got a big time teammate, Darion Mayo, who I believe he's another one of those Viper kind of guys for the Irish that they're targeting. Mayo's visiting April 1st, so Notre Dame would absolutely love to go into good counsel and land both of these guys. It's a school that Notre Dame needs to regularly land players from. Cam Hart's the last player Notre Dame landed from good counsel in Olney, Maryland. It's just one of the top programs each year. No, like when you look at DeMatha Catholic, good counsel, some of those schools, in the Washington, 4-hour radius of DC, some of those top Catholic schools, Notre Dame needs to land some of these guys.
Well, I just talked to your colleague, Tyler Horka, last week about this year's Notre Dame defense, and I thought he made an interesting comment that it's a defense right now that's looking for a new identity. You've had some great players come through, and Kyle Hamilton, Isaiah Foskey. Now they're trying to redevelop who they are, and my big question is, who's going to be able to get after the quarterback the next couple of years? And there's maybe someone that fits into the equation that could help the Irish down the line getting after the quarterback, because after watching your video on the YouTube channel, he definitely comes off the edge ferociously.
Here's a name to throw at you as a player who could surprise this season. Aiden Gobira, going into his sophomore year, redshirt this past year, came in, he's a light guy. Like when I saw him at the All-American Bowl in January 2022, I don't know, 230 pounds soaking wet, something like that. I think a year in the program for him, he might be a sneaky contender as a breakout player on Notre Dame's defense. Just remember that name, Aiden Gobira. Ironically, from like an hour radius of Washington, D.C., from I think it's Chantilly, Virginia. Gobira, definitely going to be a guy to watch.
Okay, I'll jot down that name.